What's up, everyone? Today we're going into this day and leaving it being green. So let's break it down how I did so. Going into the day, I was bearish. We had great draws on liquidity below us. We had London session low, Asian session low, an hourly low. We have a new week opening gap that still hasn't been touched. We have London session high above us, and we have high time frame PD arrays above us. What I was looking for, well, and also going into the day, we had a bullish SMT off of Asia low here, as you can see. M&Q took it out, whereas, oh shit, whereas ES, oh wait, no, sorry, NQ didn't take it out, whereas ES did, as you can see, it's already taken out. So I use that as a condition for us to open high. When market opened at 9:30, I wanted to see us open high and go into these high time frame PD arrays. What happens? Market opens. We tap into an hourly gap, a 30-minute gap, and a 15-minute gap. Now, after we tapped into those gaps, we also placed in a bearish SMT, as you can see here. We took out that high on MNQ, whereas on ES, we did not. So now I'm like, okay, this is low-key an A+ setup. You know, we got DOL below us. We tapped into several high time frame PD arrays that they're stacked on top of each other, which is extra confluence. We are in a discount to go. We're in a premium to go short, and we have the bearish SMT. I'm going to be looking for inverse for rally gaps to the downside. This is an A+ setup. I want to get in on this. We scale down to the lower time frames, and there's no entry. Not on the 2-minute, there was no inverse. Not on the 1-minute, there was no inverse. And even on the 30-second, there was no inverse here. There was nothing to inverse. And what ended up happening was we tanked a little bit, edged London session low, and then came back up and inversed this 5-minute, which is not ideal. I did not want to see this 5-minute get inverse. What I wanted to see was us to trade back into this 5-minute, right? Us trade into this 5-minute here, and then inverse this 2-minute fair value gap to the downside. I would have taken that short and rode it all the way down at Asia low, probably, or even this hourly low down here. But yeah, we fucking inversed the 5, which made another tricky layer on top, right? We trade back into these high time frame PD arrays like we did before. On both pairs we did, I believe. On the other pair we did. On the didn't. We didn't trade back into it on ES, but we still have this bearish SMT that's holding us instead. It's there now. So that's right there. So we still have a bearish SMT. We're still in high time frame PD arrays. And again, I was looking for just an inverse to the downside. I wasn't going to make this 5-minute inverse to the upside kind of completely change my narrative. Would have changed my narrative is if at 10 o'clock the 4 a.m. candle, the 4-hour candle would have closed. If an hourly candle would have closed. If we were trading up here, right? And we inversed all these PD arrays on the high time frame on the hourly, the 30-minute, and the 15-minute, and we have a bullish 4-hour gap to the upside. I definitely would have switched my bias and looked for longs either to this hourly or to this London session high or even this unfilled hourly all the way up here. But that didn't happen, so my bias was still bearish, and I was pretty keen on that. And then this is when my discretion came into play, right? So we're on the 2-minute time frame right now. What ended up happening was we failed to inverse the 2-minute fair value gap to the downside on this candle. Then on the second candle, we inversed this fair value gap and we inversed this fair value gap. And as you can see, that's a beautiful close. Beautiful close. No wick, just straight confluence to the downside. That's when I entered. However, this is where discretion comes into play. There was a 1-minute unfilled below that. We inversed it on the 2 on this gap, but we didn't inverse it on the 1. And as you can see, we respect that 1-minute and start going higher. Now, what I've been noticing is I take my trade on the highest time frame inversion, right? So it's 3-minute, the 5-minute, the 2-minute. But on the lower time frames, right, it doesn't inverse. and there's a potential where it could respect that lower time frame and stop you out. So although, hey, I took my trade on the 3 minute and the close looked perfect and we inverse it perfect, the 2 minute didn't inverse and the 1 minute didn't inverse. And usually the 1 minute and 2 minute it's like directly below that. So what ends up happening is you enter, it taps into those lower time frame for value gaps, and then you immediately get stopped out. So what I've been doing is I've been trying to be a little bit patient and wait for all the time frames to inverse. It's no longer let's wait for the highest time frame. It's let's wait for all of the time frames to inverse. And I've just been noticing that. I don't know if that's just in the summer or just these current market conditions, but that's what I've been noticing. And there's been instances where I've been taking trades on the higher time frame and kind of disregarded the lower time frame, and it's worked in my favor. And other times it has not. But when I have so many confluences that go with my trade bias and go with my entry, that kind of pushes me a little bit more towards wanting to take the highest time frame inversion and kind of ignoring the lower time frame. And that's exactly what I did today. I had really strong confluence that we were going to take out London session low regardless of this smaller time frame here. And I was right. What ended up happening was we inversed that 2 minute, tap it in that 1 minute, respect it, start going a little bit higher. We're chopping around, we're chopping around, we're chopping around. Then we inverse that 1 minute that was previously holding us up, and then boom, we just start tanking. Now, I'm going to be honest, I was targeting Asia session low all the way down here, and we got pretty damn close. I wish I took my profits down there, but it's no big deal. What ended up happening was ES took out Asia and London session low for, where's that? Yeah, Asia. It took out Asia and London session low before NQ did, so that created a bullish S&T, and I ended up just trailing my stop loss all the way to right here. And it was kind of just pushing around. I was like, okay, I'm going to trail my stop loss to right here, which is originally where my take profit should have been, which is London session low, right? So I had my stop loss right here, and I was like, okay, if it's meant to take out Asia session low, or that's great, okay, whatever. And we almost did. We were right here, but regardless, I trailed my stop. I was break even here, but then once we got all the way down here and ES took out Asia and London session low, I just trailed my stop all the way to down here, which was just the previous take profit where it should have been, and I ended up getting stopped at where that was right here. So no big deal. I think my overall just trade execution and trade management was great during this. I could have freaked out and just closed my position early, and I'm kind of glad I did what I did. I followed my rules, and I also could have, gotten stopped out where, maybe I'm being so stubborn where it's like, oh, maybe I'm not trailing my stop loss all the way to down here. Instead, I kept it at break even. This would have been a break even trade, and I would have been fucking pissed, right? I would have been so fucking mad. I would have gotten stopped out or break even. So I'm glad I did what I did. Trade management was great. So realistically, my trade was like right around there, kind of like a 1-to-1 ish, 1-to-1.5. I was targeting a 1-to 2.5, but it's no big deal. Banked for $519. And here's the thing: from trading on evals to trading on XFAs, I tell, especially in person, I talk to people all the time about this. They're like, I tried targeting, $3,000 take profit. I got break even, and then I took another one and I targeted at 4,000. Like, dude, you don't need to be banking out every time for thousands of dollars on your XFA. All you need to do, truly, is get a winning day. Just get a winning day, right? If you get a winning day, you're doing your job. Like, you need to be happy knowing that you're getting one step closer to getting a payout. Fuck the fucking, oh, I want a huge 1-to-15 or, like, no, bro. Like, just take your fucking profits, man. Like, let's just do simple math. Let's just say you take $500 trades, right? You make $500 every single time you trade. And you take 4 winning days, it's 4 trades. That's $2,000, right? That's $2,000 right there. Instead of you taking one huge mega fucking trade and getting stopped out, and then taking another mega trade and then winning, and then getting a break even, and then getting stopped out again, and then taking another mega trade. You're all over the fucking board. There's no consistency, right? I barely fucking trade on my XFAs. Like barely, almost never. It has to be perfect A plus for me to take a trade on my XFAs. And yes, it might take a little bit for me to get a payout, but I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? Like I rather be confident knowing the shit I'm doing is right than me just doing some bullshit and trying to make a shitload of money as fast as possible because I want to fucking, I want to go on vacation or I want to go flex my money or I want to go fucking buy some shit, buy clothes, whatever. I rather just take my time and do the right thing, and you should too. Because when you do that, shit works out in your favor. Stop putting timelines to shit. Just fucking trade freely, trade without pressure, and trade when it's meant to be traded. You are a day trader. You don't got to trade every fucking day. Trade the days that you actually have confidence in. Trade the days that make sense. This day made sense. What wouldn't make sense is if, after this 2 minute inverse to the downside, we respect this 1 minute, and then we come back up, and then we resweep this high, and then the 10 hour 10 a.m. comes out, and we fucking inverse these high time frame PD rays. Then all right, then you're like, okay, so my bias was bearish. I get low time frame inverses, then we get another inverse to the upside. It's choppy. Like days like that, I would have been like, all right, I'm done. I would have closed my laptop, and I've done it before. And when I'm on XFAs, I'm like that. When I'm on evals, it's completely different, bro. You have to like fucking change your brain. On evals, it does not matter, bro. It doesn't matter. On evals, I'm taking this trade every fucking time. On evals, I would be looking for trades because I'm trying to get off that shit as soon as possible. Now, if you're in a money crunch, right? You probably can't do that, and you probably shouldn't do that. You got to be more patient and kind of do what you're doing on as if you're on an XFA. But you really got to switch your brain, guys. Like this isn't a rush. You're young. If you're watching my videos, you're probably young. You have time. And if you stuck this long and you've watched to this long of the video, you clearly want it, right? Like you clearly want to be something bigger. And I guarantee you by trying to force trades, you're not going to get there. So just take your fucking time with this shit. Like I haven't uploaded videos in the past couple of days because there's nothing to upload. I didn't take any trades. There was honestly nothing for me to do. So, you know, don't put pressure on yourself, guys. That's kind of the takeaway. Yeah, that's your trade recap of the day. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace, y'all.